Hi everyone, it's Alia or Cake Legend and welcome back to another cake decorating tutorial. Today we're going to be making this really cute Halloween themed pumpkin Faultline cake. Starting with some American buttercream, we're just going to dye this black, and if you need a recipe for American buttercream, you can find one in the top right hand corner. Once this was all colored, I grabbed my cake, which was already stacked and crumb coated and ready to be masked, and I just spread the black buttercream across the middle of the cake. This layer can be super thin, and the thinner the better actually. We really just need it for the background that the pumpkins and stars are going to rest on. So just spread that thin layer and smooth it out with your bench scraper. Now we're moving on to our fondant decoration. So to start, I'm making the orange pumpkins with some orange fondant. I just grab a little piece, roll it into a ball, and then use my rolling pin to flatten it out. And then I just use this fondant tool to make little lines, 2 on each side, curving down to create the pumpkin. And it's as simple as that. Just a little ball of fondant flattened out and draw some lines on it. So I repeated this process and made various sizes to go around the side of the cake. Now I'm going to make some fondant stars to fill in the gaps around the pumpkins. I have 2 sizes here. I used the white fondant to make the bigger stars, and I used some yellow fondant to make the smaller ones. And these punches are super easy to use. You just roll out some fondant fairly thin and punch out some stars. Now I'm just going to scatter those stars around these pumpkins. You can never do too many or too little. Now this step is totally optional, but I decided that I wanted to paint all of my yellow stars gold. I used the Edible Art brand of cake paint, but you can use any gold paint that you'd like. Now that we have our fondants all done, it's time to dye some more buttercream orange so that we can ice the exposed top and bottom of the cake and create our fault line. I didn't want this color to take away from all the fondant decoration we just stuck on the cake, so I went for a very muted, warm toned orange, which was created by using orange food coloring, a little bit of red, and some brown. Place your buttercream into a piping bag and cut off the tip so that you have more control over where the buttercream fault line is being created. If you just apply it with your spatula like you normally would when masking a cake, it's not going to look very nice and you're going to end up covering more of the fondant decoration than desired. When you're piping this buttercream, you also want to make sure that you're doing a pretty thick layer. A thick layer is necessary to get those clean lines that we're looking for. If it's too thin, you're gonna get too close to the fondant and it's gonna start to get really messy looking. So keep it thick. You can even pipe 2 layers of this buttercream if you'd like. Once I had all of that piped, I just used my large offset spatula to spread out the buttercream on top, how I normally would, and I went in with my bench scraper on the sides, just being very, very gentle when smoothing out that buttercream. After the first few passes, you can see that the cake is mostly smooth except for these few parts here. Instead of scraping it more thin, I just added more buttercream to fill in those gaps and smoothed it out again. And now we're just gonna clean off that top edge, and I decided to finish it off by doing a little swirl going into the center. And to make this, you just take your large offset spatula and slowly drag it from the edge of the cake towards the center while spinning the turntable. To finish off the top of the cake, I grabbed these gold sprinkles that matched my gold stars and I added them to the top edge of the cake. I really think this kind of tied it all together. And for the finishing touch, I grabbed this Wilton No. 2 piping tip, which is a small round tip, and I dyed some buttercream brown so that I could pipe all the little stems on my pumpkin. Once the pumpkins were done, I just cleaned up the cake board and then this cake was all finished. I really like it and I think it looks so fun and spooky. I hope you guys do too. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this tutorial, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!